Alright guys, what is up? I am PDFTCG, and today I'm going to be doing an update on my channel as well as a review of the new teased cards for Wrath of Kors. So, getting the update out of the way first thing, the Game Crafter took a lot longer to get my cards together than it usually does, actually I think 4 times longer. I haven't actually sat down and looked at it, but about 4 times longer than usual to get my cards together, so that's, you know, kind of aggravating, but whatever. They are, however, now on the way, so the next Saturday, not this next one, but the one after that, I will be uploading a Wrath of Kors video, and then from then on out, for at least a good while, I will be doing some form of content every Saturday. Okay, so just diving on into the teased cards from Wrath of Kors. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way is that the general way that he seems to balance his cards is that a 1-cost creature is 200, or I guess I should say 400 stat total, and then they get an extra 200 stat total per element that they cost. So a 3-cost creature should have a total of 800 stats, or be approximately 400. So the first card we're going to look at is Rolling Fire, and it does follow that formula. That being said, it does have the upside of when it dies, it deals 300 damage directly to the enemy core. This makes it pretty solid, and it's an aggressive card in red. So that's always good. I imagine this will probably get played in aggressive mono red decks. I can't see a reason it wouldn't. Above average card, pretty solid. Next up we have Ice Golem's Head. Again, it's a 3-cost creature, so we would be looking for about an 800 stat total. It's at 700. However, every time you roll, you have a 1 in 6 chance of drawing a card, and all of its stats are weighted into health. I'm not sure if that's good. I'm assuming, obviously, it's a very defensive card and it draws cards, so it'd be played in a control thing. It also has a 50% chance of missing, though. I think this is slightly weak, but you still might run it in some kind of a control thing. I like the card, but I just feel like it only having a 700 stat total and a 50% chance of missing is just a little bit too much. I think this comes off as a little bit weak. Chrisann Thea the Beauty, hopefully I didn't butcher that. Static ability, all of your other units in play get plus 100 HP. It is a 3-cost unit. It is 400. Only a 1 in 6 chance of missing. Overall, this is quite strong. Particularly if you're playing a bunch of small creatures, this could very, very certainly just gain you a lot of field presence. Probably the best card so far, but it's a rare, so that kind of makes sense. The next card is Water Crocodile. It's again a 3-cost, so we'd be expecting about an 800 stat total. It comes in at 700, so it'll need to make up for that a little bit somewhere just to hit average. When it enters, if it was placed on a blue terrain, burrow it. Only misses on 1, so that's kind of good. And if it hits, this unit gets plus 100 HP. I'm not sure if that's permanent, because I know that some of his things specify for this battle. I would like for in the future these to all either say for this battle or permanently. Just to clarify, I'm assuming this is permanent since it doesn't specify for this battle, and there are ones that do, but I don't know that. That would make it a little bit better, although it'd have to sit on the field a long time, particularly a long time for just a 3-drop. It's okay. It's just like an alright blue creature. I probably wouldn't play it over the head in most blue decks, particularly since most blue decks are probably going to be more defensive, but it's just fine. The next card we have is Blacksmiths Daughter. Also, it's raining outside. I hope that's not like really loud for you guys. I want to go ahead and get this video out of the way, so I'm not going to wait until tomorrow to do it, but hopefully that's not just outrageously loud for y'all. So it's a 3 cost, so again, looking for about an 800 stat total. This only comes into 600, meaning that it will need to make up significantly somewhere else. So it misses on a 1 and a 2, which isn't a great start. It hits on a 3 or a 5, and then on 6 it has some kind of an upside. Hit, you can play a weapon card from your hand with a play cost of 3 or less for free. I mean, just having a 1 in 6 chance of doing something positive when in other situations this card's going to come up kind of dead, particularly in red-black, which is kind of an aggressive deck. You want every card you play to be applying pressure. This could generate like some board tempo for you. Like you could, like if you play this and then the first turn you swing with it, you get to play like a 3 cost weapon from your hand. Obviously that's going to accelerate your board, but I think it's too expecting this card to do much of anything is kind of living in a dream world, I think. It's not awful, but you kind of, with red-black, I feel like you're going to be more aggressive, and having a creature that a lot of the time will just be in a below-average stat creature that 1 in 6 rolls will let you play an equipment that you might not even have in your hand. I don't see this as like a viable card. The next thing we're looking at is Vigilante Warrior. It is white-red, 3 costs, so again we're going to be looking for about 400. Misses on a 1, hits on a 2 or a 5, on a 6, hit, this unit gains 100, see it says gain 100 attack this battle. So I'm thinking that means if it says just gain 100 health, lose 100 attack, something like that, that means it's permanent, but I don't know. I would like some clarification on that if possible. So if you roll a 6, then it hits the point that it needs to be like a playable creature. You could play it. It's not awful. Generally there's just going to be better stuff to play though. Like you have to be playing white, red to play. I think he calls that white and not like yellow or light or whatever, but so you have to be playing white, red to play this. And it's like strictly worse than the first card we looked at. What was that called? Rolling Fire, which is a mono red card. I would like to see this get some kind of a buff. I don't even know if that's an option at this point. I don't know if he's sent off the stuff to GameCraft or not. This just seems underwhelming, particularly in comparison to Rolling Fire and other cards that are just already out. I don't see much of a reason to run this. Okay, so I know I've been bashing a lot of the cards. I want to give my honest opinion. I don't want to, I feel like a lot of people in the community will be like, oh yeah, no, that card's great, and I'm just sitting there like, no, actually, that you should never play that, actually, which is fine. All TCGs have that, but I want to be honest with what cards I think are good and which ones I think are bad. Not every card is going to be the best card in the game. That's kind of how these things work. That being said, Amethyst Gem Stone is good. The terrain on this deck generates an additional black element each turn. So anyone that doesn't play Magic the Gathering is not going to understand anything I'm about to say. But one of the big differences between the way Wrath of Kor's elements work and the way that Magic the Gathering's mana works is the fact that Wrath of Kor does not have colorless mana in the cost. So what that means is that you need very, very specific amounts of the different elements in order to play your cards. So anything that allows you to get more elements or manipulate and change the elements that you have is very, 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 very good. And this is just straight up get an extra black for 2 black. I will be running this. The deck that I'm planning on building as soon as my cards come in is the primary color is black. I will probably be running this as soon as I have the option of getting my hands on it. The next card we have is Flameblade. It is a 2 red cost. Unit gains plus 100 attack. If the equipped unit is red, it gains plus 200 attack instead. That's fine. You're going to put it in mono red aggro decks. Sure. Chillwind Ghost. Uncommon. 3 cost. It does hit 400 like we'd like, and it has upside. When it enters, burrow any 1 unit that is currently in play. So you're probably not going to use this defensively. There might be some situation where you'd consider doing it, but generally you're going to use this offensively to burrow an enemy's creature. I'm pretty sure that means they can't block. In fact, I think he mentions that in the video that all of these came from. I screenshotted this stuff a long time ago because I knew I was going to use it for this video. That being said, it misses on a 1 and a 2, which is fine. That's about average for the lower cost creatures. And it hits on a 3 and a 6. It hits that 400 for 3, and it has upside. It doesn't quite fit with the blue though. I guess you could do like a blue-red thing and just use this to keep swinging in with your little red dudes. That might be an option. I'm not sure if there's anything. I'm not sure like how the red-blue support looks, but you could do this, and then I think doesn't the blue Krylisian, when you sacrifice it, you get to make it so that an enemy creature can't block this turn? I could be lying about that though. But you could potentially do like red-blue aggro, get 'em. Okay, next we have Heavy Ballista. It is 3 white, 2 black, and it is amazingly good. So first of all, for 5 cost, we would be wanting 1200 stats, which it has, most of which are weighted at an attack, which is excellent for a ranged unit. It hits on a 3 or a 3 through 5, misses on 1, 2, and with a 6, it has hit, destroy any weapon or relic in play. So first of all, I think weapon destruction is really good in this. In most TCGs, when you destroy a weapon, or when you destroy a creature, if it has a weapon on it, just goes to the graveyard. In Wrath of Kor's, again, unless I'm mistaken, it goes back to the hand. So just having weapon destruction on a creature, although admittedly, you're hoping that you roll a 1 through 6 while your opponent happens to have a weapon in play. Really situational, but if this card did not have that text, it would be still really good. 800, 400 for 5 with ranged is really good. I actually want to do, there's another card coming up. I guess I should have said this when that came around. I actually want to do like white, black, spam ranged and weapons, and just end fights before they begin. I think that would be kind of cool. Like if you just get to the point where you have a big enough board, I don't think your opponent could do much of anything, barring like board wipe type stuff. The next card is a core. It is a rare, as I believe all cores are. It is the Core of Frost. Any 1 unit in play has a base attack power of 0 and cannot attack/defend until the next turn. I'm not sure if the base attack to 0 is relevant. If it can't attack or defend, there might be some situations that I'm not thinking of where that matters. However, can attack or defend until your next turn. So if I use this on my turn, then it can't block. So again, we're looking at potentially doing like a blue-red aggro, my opponent never gets to block type of deal. And then they also can't swing back at you. So if you lock down like one or two, like your opponent's only 1 or 2 creatures, you can swing in for free, and then you don't even have to worry about them retaliating. However, it charges when you play a blue unit, which means it's better in like mono blue. And this could just be played as like a defensive thing. You could just lock down your opponent's creatures and slowly build up into whatever your late game is. I think all of his new cores say when a unit of that color comes in, charge it. So those are going to be, I think, more for like the mono-colored decks is what those are, you know, obviously. Also means I have thoughts. So I'm not sure if he has any intention of making rules about side decking. Obviously, we're a little bit away from like hyper competitive formats, but if there is a side deck, could I and I'm playing blue, could I have a core in my side deck and like swap in this core when I'm playing against another blue opponent because it's going to charge more? Just something I'm curious about. The next card is Walltop Scout. This is the worst card out of all of them in the teased cards, I think. So it's 3 colors. Red, white, black. I'm not sure how much support there is like between all those colors. Obviously there's some red black stuff. You could play like red black splash in white or something. The issue is that this card is not good. So it's 3 costs, which means we want it to be 400. It's 300. When it enters, your opponent shows you 2 cards from their hand, which it's a thing. Again, I feel like you're probably going to be playing this in a deck that is predominantly red-black, which again is going to be primarily aggressive, and again, it just doesn't have the stats to be in an aggressive deck. And then it does something kind of control. It lets you look at your opponent's hand, and at a 6 you get to look at a card in your opponent's hand. I don't think it's in the right colors, and I think even if it was in the right colors, it still would not be terribly playable. Okay, the next card is Born in Flames. It is a rare card. You may use only red elements to pay for the cost of your next unit this turn. What this card should say is mono red alto is now a thing. I don't know if this is good. I don't know how to gauge this card. Because this is almost always going to be used to play some kind of gigantic creature, right? So you're probably going to do alto and just play like mono red control into alto. I don't know. Actually, mono red has a bunch of control stuff. That might be a thing. Mono red alto might actually be a legitimate deck. Obviously, you'd be relying on drawing this and alto. However, if you're playing alto, you're already relying on just praying that you have the mana to the excuse me, the elements to play alto, and drawing alto. So I think relying on Born in the Flames and just having a much more consistent mono red control thing going on. That might be like the best way to play Alto once this comes out, actually. So I'm curious about this. I don't know how good it is. I definitely want to play it. It only cost 1. So you would also have to have a way of getting an additional element from somewhere. That could just be discarding a terrain card from your hand once you've hit 7 terrains. So, yeah, this is an interesting card. I don't know if it's good or not. The next card is Chrisann Egg Keeper. It is a 300/300 for 2, so it hits that the way we want it to. On death, you may play a Chrisann from your hand with a play cost of 2 or less for free. It misses on a 1 and hits on a 2 through 6. So this card, yeah, it doesn't even miss on a 2. So this card is average because it has the average stats. Then it has upside on the death, and then I would consider it not missing on a 2, with everything else considered that it has being a positive as well. Yeah, this card's really strong. Makes Chrisanns feel like a little bit more of a deck rather than something that you just splash into other decks. I like it. Okay, the next one that we have coming up is Healing Mage. 4 cost, so we would want to see about 500/500. It's 300/400, however, you're gaining 500 HP to your core when it comes in, which is fairly significant. That's a fairly noticeable chunk, particularly if you get to play this thing multiple times. 1 to 2 miss, recover 100 HP from your core. Okay. See, I like this. I like it being slightly more consistent, that you get the upside on the card, on the rolls, even if it's... I guess that's not the upside, though, because it misses. But I would like to see, like, 5 and 6 equals upside, even if it's a little bit weaker of an upside on the cards that have that, just so that you are more often getting what you play the card for. Anyway, hits on a 3 through 5 and on a 6 hit, prevent the next 300 damage that would be dealt to a unit in play this turn. I think it's okay. Maybe slightly below average. I would say it's probably playable. You might figure out a way to like revive this thing a whole bunch of times and just like play it again and again and again. It might be doing some stuff. I don't think it's incredible, but it's probably roughly average. So the next one is Ranger Assassin. It's a rare. It costs 4. It is black-white, ranged. 1 through 5 is a hit, so it has no chance of missing, which is already definitely an upside. And on a 6, instant kill a unit with a play cost of 1 or less. That's worth mentioning, but it's not incredible. Again, since it's just on a 6, it's going to be 1 in 6 rolls. It's not going to happen that often, but still a nice bonus. It has 400 attack, 500 HP, so it comes just short of the 500/500 we would want it to have. However, the fact that it's ranged and then has an upside on its rolls, and the fact that it can't miss, this card plus the Ballista, which is also white-black, as I was saying, I think you can actually construct a deck of just like spamming ranged creatures and then throwing equips on them. I think that would be really potent. I believe it would be potent. And I look forward to these. I like that there are more ranged creatures now. And lastly, we have Humongous Ancient Gigantic Old Stone Being. So it costs 5. It's 500, which means we're going to be looking for some kind of an upside in the abilities. You can destroy it to generate 2 green elements. Misses on a 1, hits on a 2 through a 5, and on a 6, hit this unit, gains plus 500 HP for the rest of this turn. I feel like it... Wait, is... Oh, it's when it's destroyed, not sacrifice it to... No? Hold on. Hold on. Hold. Please hold. Yeah, so you would have to destroy it to get the green elements. I don't know how I feel about this. So the next turn you could potentially have like a huge play, because you would be at least at 7, possibly even at 8 potential elements the next turn. So you could like have a really explosive play the next turn. But at a cost of 5, I feel like you'd rather have a creature that sits around. I would rather this be like a smaller creature with that ability. Like, I think this would be really good if it was like a 3-cost creature that you could sacrifice for the 2 elements, but I feel like that late in the game, just getting like a boost doesn't do a whole lot for you. And then as just like a creature, it's slightly subpar. So I don't see this seeing a whole lot of play, but there might be some situations that I'm not really thinking through at the moment. Alright guys, that's about it for this video. Again, be looking out for weekly videos starting on the 10th of this month, and then leading on from there at least for a good little while. I don't know exactly how long I keep that up, but it will be at least for like a couple months is what I'm planning. Gonna start off with Wrath of Kors, and then I think I'm gonna swap between Wrath of Kors and Chaos Galaxy every week. So definitely be looking forward to that. Comment, like, subscribe, Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a nice day.